You've landed in the Dream Gardener podcast. Through storytelling from the amazing guests I interview, you will learn how to gather, plant, nurture, and reap all the benefits of pursuing your dreams. I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome everyone to the Dream Gardener, and I'm Barbara Donis, your host. I created this podcast because I'm a big believer in dreams and the importance that they play in our life, even though we've been kind of trained to not pay that much attention to them, or just they've been downplayed. And I really think that if we pay attention to them, they can offer us a lot into our lives and enrich them in ways that we never even could predict. Sometimes it might even take us on a path for a career. Otherwise, sometimes it might not just be a career. It might be just a hobby or something that just fulfills us, that we've always longed to do, or someplace we've always longed to go. And just, I don't want to say just, but that satisfaction brings so much enrichment to our lives. And I've been blessed over my life to meet a whole bunch of really neat people that are pursuing their dreams in a variety of different ways. And we're going to be talking to another one today. Her name's Deb Hart, good friend of ours, and she's like a Jill of all trades. Deb is, oh my gosh, I believe I met her at a humor conference. So you can right off get a little feel of the idea of who Deb is, or what kind of personality she has. She's a very fun-loving person. She has many hats that she wears and many skills that she's developed over the years, and I'm just going to let her start sharing them with you. So let me get Deb up here. Oop, I got to do it a different way. Hi, Deb.
Hey, Barb. Hi.
How are you? Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell everybody that even for this interview, you wore your special bra.
I did. I text that to you just to lighten the mood up.
Yes.
So,
I know.
yes.
This is not serious. Dreams aren't, they don't have to be serious, right? They're
Right. And I got to tell you, I just love the idea of the dream gardener. Like, it's a garden that you grow these dreams and you look forward, and sometimes you water them, and sometimes they're like volunteer plants, right? They just come up. You don't know where. You posted a picture today of a volunteer poppy that obviously the seed was dropped by some bird
Yep.
somewhere. Yeah, that's sometimes what dreams are too. So just thank you for doing this and putting this idea out there.
Oh, you're welcome. It's something that's been Actually, I'll just give you a little bit of background. It's been percolating for a while, actually probably at least 2 years, maybe even 3. And I've had some stops in which I'm sure during the course of these interviews, perhaps you'll even share, you've had the experience too, where I didn't feel like I knew enough about it. I didn't know how to do a podcast. Why would I do it? Is this a subject that I should even talk about? Are people going to be interested? And it was an idea that kept just nagging at me. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm just going to jump in, and I'm not going to be that's it. I'm not going to be attached to the outcome, like where this is going to lead. I just think there's been a positive reception, positive it's landed on people in a positive way. And so I figured there's something there, and I want to share that with people. So thank you for helping me share the message.
I love it.
Thank you. So can you, because you've had so many dreams at different stages in your life, it's probably going to be even hard. We'll have to probably do a part 2, part 3, part 4.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that, aren't I?
You are, but that's awesome because you totally don't fit the mainstream, and you march to the beat of your own drummer. And
or flute player, or whatever you want to use.
or harmonica player, or
That's right. I like to march to Danny's harmonica playing. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so with having so many different dreams, and I'd like you to share, you don't have to share all of them because I'm sure, it's never ending. But can you share, like, what life was like prior to, if you had a prior to living your dreams, a little bit about, like, your background of what life was like, and then something must have happened, I'm guessing, and if this doesn't fit for you, take it a different direction. But I'm figuring something must have happened that made you kind of pivot and shift to a different direction of following a dream or more dreams, and what that was like.
That that's a great, great question. I'm proud to say I'm in yet another book called The Awe Factor by Alan Klein. And I wrote about what I dreamt about as a young child. This is real interesting. As a young child, being placed in a 50s child, being placed in front of the TV set, right?
Mm-hmm.
The TV set. And that was my babysitter. So what did I watch? Mickey Mouse Club. I watched, there were Chicago shows and stuff like that. And I watched The Lone Ranger. I liked Tonto better than the Lone Ranger. I liked his native lifestyle as it was portrayed to me in the 50s. So, there's a lot of stereotypes there. But what stuck with me was sort of the natural way he worked, as well as the healing capabilities. So I used to think about, I want to be a healer type person.
Now, wait,
So
let's back. So this is when you're how
I'm
old?
4 years old. I'm 3 to 4 years old. Really.
Wow. Okay,
I
wow.
know. And so let's just jump ahead because I hadn't planned on that dream, but things that interest me. Jump ahead from when I'm 4 years old till I'm 24 years old, and I meet a healer type person. And when I say healer, I don't mean doctor. I mean someone that uses alternative healing methods, or you can go into all these things. Very spiritual, not religious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning techniques that have to do with the unseen. All right. So I'm learning that, but I'm also getting divorced. I'm also have a child, and I need a job. So I become a CNA. The CNA teachers go, "You need to be a nurse." One of the CNA teachers sees me in the grocery store. She goes, "Are you a nurse yet?" And I go, "No, I don't have money or whatever." She says, "You better do this right now." So I listen. I go to the local college for associate degree, and I get a lot of stuff paid for. And now I'm a nurse. So I had that dream of alternative medicine, and now I'm doing Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
In between those years, I kept thinking, wow, I need the Western medicine to balance, to give people the best of both worlds. I could see myself riding out into the country like Tonto, right? Only I would have, this is like so cool, only I would have like, uh, you know, I'd have some tea bags, some reflexology, some cards or something I'd be able to do that. I would have pictures of my spiritual teachers. I would have a stethoscope. I'd have syringes. I'd be able to do the best of both worlds.
You'd have a four-wheel vehicle, right? Or a
Well,
horse?
a horse. So this is what I'm thinking in my mind. Now, so I do my med surge rotation. Now I'm in home care. So that was when I was 4, and now I'm 38, 39 years old. I'm driving up, no, sorry, 32,
Okay.
33. I'm driving out into the country, right, to see a client because it's in the country and I'm a home nurse. I look over to my passenger side and there's a stethoscope, a syringe. I'm out in the country. There's my reflexology cards. There's tea bags, and there's a picture of like one of my spiritual teachers. I laugh because all of a sudden that feeling of that dream came over me. And
Mm.
I go, this is what I usually do. I go, all I need is the horse. And I look, and the name of my car is a Dodge Colt. I know. And
Wow. Wow.
coincidence? Maybe. It's not
Mm.
exactly the how. No, it's not exactly the outcome that always matches, but what is the feeling that you're having when you're dreaming? I'll give you another one. This was like a daydream, right? I said, well, let's work for somebody else. So I was single, right? Single. And there is, I'm thinking about, I really could use a healthy relationship because I was in all these other unhealthy relationships. And I was divorced, raising my daughter, da da da. I write it all out. I want him to be better with money than me. I'll just give you a few things. I want him better than money has to be as much better than what I do. Number two, he's got to have a great sense of humor. Number three, I don't want any more kids. So, you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and I don't want to be the one taking birth control, right?
Yep.
I'm also saying I prefer he's divorced because, he should know a little bit about how I feel. I don't want any more kids. His kids could be the same age as Kate, and he want I want him to be able to travel. I want him to be, and I named a bunch of other things. I didn't want him real tall like my first husband either, right? That was important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to stand up and kiss him,
Yeah. Otherwise, your
you
neck
know?
gets real sore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The other one was 6'4" and I'm 5 foot.
Oh. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to bring it down a little. But lastly, and I threw this in just to be funny, and I want his name to be David or Daryl.
Really?
I Yeah, that's why you're looking like that because
Wow.
I, so basically after a series of events, I met Daryl. I met him at my job. I was a nurse and I was a charge nurse in the nursing home. And now we're married. And his name is Daryl. And he has two kids around the age of Kate. We didn't have to have any more. You know, Daryl, he's got a great sense of humor, loves to travel. He's much better at money than I am.
Wow.
I know, another
Wow.
dream.
Yeah.
So that's why, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just when you were talking about Dave or Daryl, I was like, did you bump into a Dave at the same time and
I
then have a
No,
okay.
I did have a Dave at one point, but that just went away.
Okay, okay. Daryl was the obvious, like yeah, he was like the neon sign, just wow. So it even sounds like I had that experience with a car, writing down exactly what I wanted, and it showed up, except for one thing, which I didn't need the spoiler, really. It wasn't
Yeah.
critical, but yeah. But so writing helps to identify what you want in your dreams, it sounds like, too, for you. You were bringing up how it feels for a dream. And I thought
Mm-hmm.
earlier this morning, I was thinking that that was like one of the questions I wanted to ask because so I think a lot of people, myself can be included, um, get disconnected from their body. Um, and I mean, their mind, how their body feels when something hurts. They block it out. They pretend it doesn't. They just forge on. Something's emotionally bothering them and they'll stuff
Mm-hmm.
it. So that's what I mean by the disconnect. And I'm wondering if you've if you can verbalize like how does a dream like when you're just living your life, and then a dream comes floating by, or however it lands on you. How does it feel? How do you recognize it? How does it feel in your body, anywhere in your body, if you have that kind of connection to it?
You know, I would say with everything that I do, like I just want to give one more example.
Go ahead.
Back back when I was teenager, some women dream about their marriage, some people dream about wanting kids. I didn't want any of that. I wanted to be a bubby, which is a grandmother
Oh,
in Yiddish. I
yes.
wanted to be a bubby. And so I would laugh and joke, like, who dreams about being a bubby?
Bubby.
How do you make that dream happen? Well, my aunt ran a one like a teenage shelter for pregnant women. She
Okay.
said you can adopt any one of them, have the baby, they'll have the baby, you'll be a bubby, and they'll run away. You don't have to deal with the kid. You could go straight to bubby, right? And men would say, I can help that dream happen. It was like a weird feeling that I always had. I didn't care so much about the children. I wanted that feeling of that I imagined my grandmother having with me being a grandkid. And I saw how I got treated in a safe, loving manner by my grandmother. And I wanted to give that to a kid, right? Well, once I started having grandkids, not through my bio daughter, but my non bio kids, that feeling of, oh, I'm finally what I wanted, even though it didn't look like maybe I dreamed it back in the day. So back to what dreams when they land for me can be a joke. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
Dreams for me could be, I want to be like that. Um, I think about joining the humor organization back in 1995. I want to be a clown. Well, be a clown. Just do what it needs to do. So that dream got realized differently. Just you want to do it? Do it. I recently got a huge award,
Mm-hmm.
Doug Fletcher Lifetime Achievement Award from this organization. I used to look at others. Would I ever do something that would be worthy of getting that award, 30 years ago? And here I got it. And I'm like, I don't deserve this award.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of me goes, this is part of your dream. How does it feel? Once the dream is met, whatever the dream is, there is this, for me, this pulling together, like my spine is perfectly straight. I am perfectly centered and poised in love. I am perfectly where I need to be. Another dream I had once they started coming out were TED Talks or TEDx Talks. So on a whim, I said, well, why don't you try it? What's the worst that can happen? So I signed up for something in, like, if it's a dream that's really manifesting, it'll show up as a dangling carrot in front of you a few times. You'll see. This happens to everybody.
Is it something like you keep having this idea that, and an image maybe that keeps surfacing in your life?
An idea, a physical representation, uh, a someone will say to you in the grocery store along the way, "Are you a nurse yet?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "No." But then once you get there, lots of people talk about this. They talked about it even in a humor conference. There's something called flow. And flow is you are in a almost a suspended time and space at some level. It's almost surreal thinking about how I became a nurse, thinking about Tonto way back when,
Hmm.
and now, or back then, like 30 years later, here I have graduated as a nurse, going into the field. If you think about it, 30
Literally,
years, literally
literally.
going in, driving a car around. I never visioned me driving a car into home nursing. I never thought I was going to be a nurse.
Hmm.
My codependency of taking care of people surfaced early in my life. But to be a nurse as a career, I had no idea. I graduated as an art teacher, right? And then I never taught in the public schools. I do some private lessons. And now that my nursing career has gone, what do I do? Art. I do art. So I've rediscovered something else. So back to the original question. It feels like you're in the right place at the right time, in the right mode, and everything is perfectly aligned when the dream manifests. Until then, I think it's our responsibility, respondability, our joy to pay attention when the universe gives you those cues and signals.
Hmm. Well,
Like,
okay, so
go ahead,
that's
go ahead.
that's kind of what I was thinking about, because it seems like there's two different stages. Then there's first when you're getting those little cues, those little comments from some stranger or a person you even know, but the universe is giving you those little signals, and you need to be aware of them. Well, you don't need to, but I mean, you're going to miss them if you don't pay attention to those little signs. So I'm wondering, like, immediately when that happens, that interaction with the person at the grocery store, or you see something, or you see a picture that reminds you of, what was the cartoon again? The Tonto,
Oh, the Lone Ranger
the
and
Lone Ranger.
Tonto. It
The
was, yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, it's like a reaction that you've got, like, in that moment or shortly after that, that makes you even notice it. Because life
It's,
can just go by. So how do you? Maybe it has to happen a few times before you pick it up.
I was going to say, if something happens to you 3 times, I hope you're paying attention, whatever it is. Maybe you don't feel well 3 times. Well, by
Mm-hmm.
the third time, maybe you should go ask a doctor, right?
Right.
Um, if you keep seeing a picture 3 times, it takes that long to sort of work in your consciousness anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of when you're learning something, whatever it is, doesn't it take a while whether it's technology on how to run these things? By 3 times, you'll have a little more comfort. What do they say? It takes 3 months to be comfortable at a job. You know, it might take 3 years to be comfortable as a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So the first time, yeah, some of them get that hit on the head first time. Good, good. I'm not quite that awoke, right? I need to be hit on the head a few times.
Well, sometimes it might just be not that you didn't notice it, but you're busy with something else. You didn't. It's
That's
like
right.
when you drive the same path every day, you don't notice things that are there, but or even something brand new in the scenery. You just don't notice it because you're distracted by other things in life.
Right.
At, at
And
least.
spiritually, I think, sorry for interrupting.
Mm-mm.
Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
Um, I think over time, not religious, my spiritual beliefs are the universe is my playground. The universe conspires for my good. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like anybody is out to get me, right? That is
Right.
not my first thought. I I feel at home playing in the magic of the universe. And that's how I look at life. Did I think of this in the middle of finals of nursing school? No, I did not.
Hmm.
But over time, I really wanted to get more connected. And that's also was a dream. How can I feel more connected in the world?
Mm.
And here I am.
Wow. That's I like the sound of that being connected because when I think about technology right now and how we have this illusion of being so connected with each other, and yet it seems like there's this big discrepancy because a lot of people feel even less connected to people. I guess you hear it from both ends. You hear people are, especially with Zoom this past year, people are being a lot more connected than what they have been in the past, and but still there's this texting, and there's still, even with the technology that allows us to be so connected with people, there's still a lot of separation or a lot of not feeling included. You know what I mean?
I do. And I, I do grief coaching also.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of different certifications after my name, whatever.
You've got a whole
What
alphabet.
I do. And then it ends with
Yeah.
EIEIO.
Oh, no, it's not getting edited.
So I what I find with any kind of loss, whether loss of not being able to be with people, loss of uh, you don't feel well, you don't have the energy to talk to people, whatever the case, whatever the loss is, loss of socialization from COVID, loss of income, loss of family because of political times, as well as being disconnected from your family. Literally,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot connect. It comes down to your core. And how can you be connected to your core? Whatever your core means to you. What are your core beliefs? Can you still do your core? Can you connect to your core beliefs? And for me, that kind of connection is paramount. That's why I did therapy and still do therapy since I was 28 years old, and I'll be
Mm-hmm.
65. Maybe I go away for 6 months to a year, but I come back because I feel disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
Life events that we have no control over disconnect us, whether it's a death, car accident, kids grow up, your own children grow up, now you're an empty nest syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge loss, right? Your role that you know as a mom is like bye-bye
Yeah.
for now, and it has to be redone. So there's so many different ways of losses and feeling disconnected. And once you walk through that loss and reconnect to your core, the dreams just start coming. It takes a while. I don't know how long a while is for people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we would all like to have like some sort of formula that's a known formula and a known time schedule, and that's probably what makes it really hard to take that leap of faith and just try it out. I mean, even if it's something that's not, because my idea with dreams is it doesn't have to be a career move.
No,
Not a, yeah, that would be, some people might, well, and who knows, maybe it might turn into a career, but that's not
I
the intention.
I didn't think I'd be making any money from my art. And now I have my cards are on display, my signs are on display, and my paintings. Is it a
Wow.
huge is it a huge income? Once again, let's go back to Daryl. being much better with money than I am. But I have done things in my life to solidify a career as well as a money making type of thing so that I could be independent.
Mm-hmm.
So I have all those things through
Well, and
nursing, through this.
you touched upon also with the art, it's not being something that is your sole source of income.
Right.
So what does allowing yourself to express that part of yourself, that part of your dream? You were at one time going to be an art teacher, but I believe that we are all creative beings. It doesn't have to show up as an art,
Right.
painting or whatever. It's just creating something, gardening, cooking, whatever. But
Yes.
since money isn't the ultimate goal with you, doing your art, what important benefits do you get from being able to, practice your art?
The other day, Mondays are like my weekend because it's not as full a schedule as the
Yeah,
whole rest of the other week because
I,
of the different things I do. Monday, I took 3 unfinished paintings because I do part of the work, then I have to look at them. And the whole purpose of the way I do my paintings is I don't have to answer to anybody. I just have to see what I want to see. It's sort of like indulging in in myself. It's a big indulgence to just say, I don't have to share my perspective with anybody else, just with me. And me is good enough.
mm,
So I finished 2 of the paintings, and then I kept thinking about the next one that I wasn't finished. And I went, you know, maybe unfinished is finished. Maybe that feeling of unfinished is where I needed to be in this picture. I mean, I have the elements of
wow.
design and all this, but I go, what if unfinished is finished?
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of wrote about that. I write on my paintings. There's some words in there. And then I put the Hebrew letters from when Jesus was on the cross and wrote, it is finished or it is completed. And so I wrote them in Hebrew in one part. And the original question you asked me was, how does that feel? It makes me feel like my core is perfect and whole. And I'm okay who I am in this world, even if only for a moment.
And then it becomes another moment, I would imagine, and another moment, either
Yeah.
by rethinking about this painting or just the lingering effects of, you're making dinner and you have remembrance of that. Okay. So yeah.
So I want to just add one
Mm,
thing to that, which is I think people get caught up when they have the house of their dreams, whatever that is, everything else will be okay. When you have the job of your dreams, everything will be fine afterwards. When they have the husband of their dreams, this is the most perfect husband, everything will be fine. You know, I don't believe that. I believe you have moments,
mm-hmm.
not eternity on this earth like like that. And then my friend Harold, who was my healing teacher way back when I was telling you when I'm 24, he said, you're given a grace. And I think every time I have one of those moments of feeling my core and one with the universe, the moment,
Mm-hmm.
that's a grace. And then you work back up to it, however that shows up. You cook more, you paint more, you work things through with your husband, you do another nursing job. Maybe it's time to switch nursing jobs. Whatever the case, it's time to do a new painting. What are those going to be like? And you let the magic of the universe guide you. and be open to it.
Wow. Okay, that's so it sounds like it's constantly being created, just in the moment of living and your perspective too, how you're looking at
Hmm.
things.
Hmm.
Um, well, then, is there? Um, I just wanted to see if there was. Well, one, I've been asking everybody if there's like a piece of advice or an advice. Sometimes that word lands on different people negatively. So let's say let me rephrase it. Is there a bit of wisdom or wishes, tips? I don't know if that's even the word, but something that you'd like to share with people that are learning how to pay attention to those dreams. They've just realized that, especially after last year, they're realizing that their job that they had, that they were giving a good portion of their life up to, wasn't as satisfying as being able to spend more time with their family and that. And now they're re examining their life. So, is there something that you can share with people that can help them, that encourage them to, that it's okay to take this time and how to do it, how to proceed with it?
Sometime, well, one, the rule of three. If it happens 3 times, please pay attention, whatever that means to you. That's number one. Number two, when making a decision, let's use yours. I really love being with my family. I really need a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? Ask yourself a series of questions and each let yourself feel your answer. How does, when you think about going back to work and your gut goes, nope, 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 and then you say, do I need to go back to work for money? Feel which way gives you a hair's breadth more peace. You only need a little bit more peace. If it says go back to work for now, and you feel just a little more peaceful knowing, giving yourself the opportunity that you can change later on.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself the choice. Don't feel locked in. Life is not black and white. It's a lot of grays with a whole rainbow. And listen to that inner voice. If it gives you a hair's breadth more peace, that's the choice. You won't go wrong with that.
I like that. I like that, even with the reminder that life isn't black and white, we feel comfortable, it seems like, with life being black and white, but we forget that's two different positions that we can just be locked in, and we can miss a
Mm-hmm.
lot of, yeah, a lot of other beautiful colors too. Um, okay, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
I feel like an old lady sharing my wisdom. Ha ha.
well,
And wear your good bra on interviews.
hey, it makes a difference apparently. Whatever
You're
it did.
lifted up.
Well, and on a serious note, though, I was thinking back too about like high school and career counseling, and I'm so not having children. I don't know how kids, I should call them, back in high school now, how young adults are being guided towards making decisions for the rest of their life. I can only speak from my perspective, and I felt like I had to pick a major that I was going to go to college and my parents are going to spend a lot of money. And I had a job when I was 16, but I had no idea what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I had no, and both my parents didn't go to college, um, but I had no guidance as far as saying, just you can pick a major, something that interests you, and if you want to change your mind, it's okay. It's a stepping stone, at least, to get you in the direction. And so I see it as this is something else that another benefit of my podcast and of other people sharing their journey is informing younger people to that you don't have to do it the way that some people have done, got that job and they stayed in it for till they retired,
Mm-hmm.
which that doesn't happen that much anymore, but still, even if you're staying at a job you're miserable at for 10 years, that's not good. So I see it as a duty of years of experience of learning, at least sharing it and giving people, younger people, older people, the opportunity to take from it what they want, what resonates with them, and at least give
Mm-hmm.
them permission that they can do things different. And they don't have to have all the answers.
Right. You just have to, what feels right for now, do you want or do you need to plan for your future? Do you need to, if you want to take that dream trip to travel Europe, not now, but eventually, do you need to put away a few bucks every week or $100 a month and just not touch it? How do you use some self-discipline to add whimsy and dreams to your life? You know,
Mm-hmm.
back to what you were saying. I mean, I went to school as a music major. I really hated doing music. I hated my oboe. And that's what I went in on because it was an easy way to get in.
You played
I
oboe? I would think of you as maybe flute or.
I I switched flutes because they needed oboe players,
Oh,
and I
okay.
thought I would try something new. This was in high school, and it was a better way to get into college. Flute players are like a dime a dozen, and I wasn't that great. Maybe I'd be better on oboe. I wasn't. I sucked. No pun intended. I sucked at the oboe.
You don't
Yes,
suck,
every
you
pun
blow.
intended. That's right. Yeah, yeah. So that was so I wound up doing everybody's artwork. I never took any art in high school. In grammar school, I did. Art was a way for me to feel connected.
Hmm.
It was also a way to shut me up. So my parents bought me tons of craft and art, put me in art classes just to make me be quiet because I was a ever curious child. Uh, Difficult for black and white parents. Let's put it that way. And so, anyway, so I got into art education, right? I didn't want to go, I really wanted art therapy back then, but back in the 70s, they made you take physiology and kill lab animals so you could cut them up and look at it. And I'm like, that's not happening. So so I became an art education student and I still did tons of art and had art shows, nothing that art education students do. But I needed to keep busy. And then look, did I use that? No, I went into nursing. So within 10 years, I have three different careers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
three different things. I just kept switching. And it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not focused on the outcome all the time, if you're focused on a generalized outcome, but you're focused on how does this make me feel? Is this the way you feel are in accordance with your dreams? If you don't feel like you're in the right place at the right time, chances are you're not living any dream. But when you feel like you are in the right place at the right time, even if it's hard, even if you cry about it, even if you stamp your feet, if you still know you're in the right place at the right time, even if you doubt yourself,
Mm-hmm.
if you do that, what makes me feel better? Hair's breadth by quitting, and that's an okay choice, or a hair's breadth better trying something new. Which way? Hair's breadth gives you more peace. That's the right choice.
Right, that hair's breadth is just, it's literally probably just that, just a slight difference in how you feel. And getting away from the logical. Oh yeah, cutting that the logical part. Not to
Right,
make it sound
right.
like, yeah, not to make it sound like if you don't seriously think it out and plan it out. You're not going to be able to support yourself. You're not going to have the insurance, whatever. There's a huge sacrifice in strictly looking, or so heavily just looking at the logical part of it and excluding all the other really important, probably even more important, is how you're feeling about it. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
excite you, does it? Even if you don't have the
Right.
end answer, yeah, it has to excite you because
It has to, at least, you got to ask which way makes me feel better. I'm going to give an example. As a nurse, I can't tell you how many relatives said, even though you're a single parent, you should move to Chicago because in Chicago you'll make twice what you're making down there. Well, I couldn't move because of my child because we co-parented, had joint custody. I could have moved away, then moved back once I saved money, but none of that felt right. None.
mm,
It's like breaking up with a boyfriend. It did not feel right. It's time to break up. Just
mm-hmm.
move on. So life is like that. You have to ask yourself a series of questions, even when other voices on the outside or the inside are arguing with you. No, no, you'll make more money. No, no, you'll be more financially stable. No, no, this will happen. Oh, your fears. Your fears stop you from your dream. Ask yourself the question and wait for that hair's breadth more peace, whatever the question is.
I like that. Okay, yeah, we could definitely do another part two, part three, and perhaps we'll be, exploring, picking up another part, later on, in this series. So, Deb, I really appreciate your time, your experience sharing it with us, and your wisdom, and just your cheerleading qualities of, yeah, in letting people know that this is important. Follow your dreams,
Mm-hmm.
however
Follow
big or
your
small. Yeah.
follow your dreams and let I know I'm going to sound like Jiminy Cricket for just a second, who is, the whole Pinocchio things. He dreamt about being a real boy.
No, wait. Some
Um,
people might not know who Jiminy Cricket is because I don't know what.
oh, so
So,
in the hand, who wrote Pinocchio originally was Hans Christian Andersen or
me,
somebody, or Charles Dick. I don't know,
yeah.
but Pinocchio was this wooden puppet, and he talked to the blue fairy and said, "My wish is to be a real boy." So what he needed as a conscience, there's this little cricket that is part of the story that whispers in his ear, and that becomes his conscience. Let your conscience be your guide.
And
Isn't
his
that
name,
cool?
his name was Jiminy. Yep.
Jiminy Cricket. Yeah. So listen to, I'm old. I'm going to use old references. The Jiminy Cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That old word, we got to transform that too. That could be another podcast. Old is no.
yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Mature, I don't know.
Well,
Seasoned.
look at, I'm going to get Medicare this year. So I don't have a uterus and I'm getting Social Security. So there you go. I am officially on the older side.
Okay. And it's not a bad word. You just,
No, it's not
yeah,
a bad word.
been there,
And
done that.
you get discounts,
Yeah.
which is so important.
Okay, Deb, thank you so much. Yeah, great seeing you, and thank you, and we will be in touch for part two.
Thank you, Barb, for everything. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you.
You're welcome.